The beginning stages are tough because there's a lot you have to prove and you have to sort of work towards getting the respect. A lot of clients come in feeling like they are coming to do you a favor by hiring you for a job. But they need your expertise to make whatever problem
they are trying to solve
work. As a designer, why do you not know how to brand? You know, you should be able to brand yourself the way you brand your clients. Always maintain a good relationship with any client at all, no matter what, because you never know where they are.
All right, guys, welcome to the second episode of Unscripted Season 2, and today we have an amazing person. He's an art god. I'm sure if you hear that, you know who we are talking about, the whole of GH, right? A visual artist who is doing incredible stuff, work with most of these amazing artists we know out there. So yeah, today we're going to talk to art god, get to know him, get into his head, because that's all I'm about, you understand? Get to, understand his brain works and all that, because he's doing crazy 3D stuff and all that. So art god, you're welcome to Unscripted.
Thank you for having me.
In season 1 we used to shake, but this time the distance is very low, so I just shake you for the air inside. All right, Charlie, you're welcome.
Thank you.
We'll talk about your fashion sense. You look very sweet over there. We'll get a picture of his full face for you guys to watch, but who is art god? You're a visual artist. I think when I checked your portfolio, that was good. But who are you? Where did it start from? How did you get to this whole art space, this 3D stuff and other things you're doing?
Right. Yeah, so art god is Oware. Art god is me. Basically, when I started design, I was just playing around, it was a hobby. And then later on, I came to find several avenues of creating arts, and then I realized, oh shit, I'm creating, or I can be in a space where I can create things that I think about. So I was like, the only person I know, or the primal person I know who is like a creator of what came into their mind was God. So I was like, you know what? The Bible said we are gods.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm a son of God. We are gods. Yeah, I'm doing art, so art god, you know. But I'm not the only art god. That is why it is that art god. There are other art gods. That's why it's not the art god. So I'm one of many. But I am that one, that art god.
Interesting. I'm sure you're the most popular art god.
Oh,
people know. To be honest, I don't think I know you're trying to be humble. Okay, where did the design journey start from? What was like your first experience with design? Were you doing graphics before,
Yeah, so ever since I could remember, I have always loved doing art, be it, sketching something, drawing, all of those things. So the design journey started when I was in high school. And basically, I was an SRC executive. Okay. And we were about to have our SRC event, but we couldn't find anyone to do the flyer. So at that point, I was like, let me try Photoshop for the first time. I had seen the app. I was interested in, it. But anytime I opened, I was like, nigga, what is happening over here is too much. So I was like, this time I have to do, because we don't have any other option. So I took a friend's laptop and I did something. I downloaded a picture and put some text on it, and with a few tutorials I watched, and then it came out. But then everyone who saw it was like, yo, this is good, nice, this is nice, yo. I was like, okay, my head was fitting me, so I was like, oh, like this is my first time, I was doing all but looking back, that design was trash.
Oh, obviously.
But yeah, it gave me the motivation to look into the software, try a lot of different things, learn more about it, and yeah, that's how it kickstarted.
Which means this was not something that you really plan for?
Not at all.
Because as the president, then the opportunity came, then you just...
I was doing general science, I was doing biology and shit. Design was not something that was like... Because I used to draw for my friends and stuff like that. I draw the names of their girls and things. I was making some money from that. But finding out I could do more with Photoshop gave me like an excitement. So it was a hobby. I was doing it for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, up until I entered the university, and then I got the opportunity to design for someone who was running for, SRC presidency. And then, I managed to design for them, and then they won. And I got paid. After getting paid, I was like, oh shit.
This is real.
Oh shit. Like money. Oh shit. Money didn't say. So after that, I was like, I started to do more commissions, did more flyers for people who were going to run for, their positions. Also, after he won the SRC presidency, he made me like an executive, and I was also designing for the SRC. So I got the opportunity to learn more about, the business of design, as well as improve upon what I was doing. So it wasn't.
I mean, for someone who's into design, right? Anytime I see your art, I have a lot of questions, right? Because if you did science and art was not something, I mean, you were doing design little. What was like the inspiration for some of the things you create? You have this, I don't know how to pronounce it, so you help me. This art show you do, kind of like display arts.
Oh yeah, the exhibitions.
Yeah, the exhibitions. Yeah. What was the name of the event itself? I think it was the latest one you had.
The latest one I had was Eminence.
Eminence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see some of this work and I'm like, what is the inspiration? What inspires you? Because like you were saying, you look where your name came from, you looked at the ultimate man, God. Yeah. Then I want to be an art god. But like what they inspire you? Because from where I sit as a product designer, right, sometimes you can, look out there, you have a problem, you build a solution to that. But like the 3D and the art you're creating, I don't understand it. Like I want to get, how the creative mind works for someone who was not, looking at that.
There are lots of things that inspire me, to be honest. I think growing up, I watched a lot of anime, a lot of movies. Yeah. I fed my eyes with a lot of creative stuff subconsciously, like, and I loved comics, like the vast range of, like things that I feel culminates to how I think about going about my art. And all of them stemmed from growing up, the things that I was, feeding into. So, I mean, if you look at my art, you would be able to tell that there are some inspirations from anime, from, comics and stuff like that. But then there's also the aspects where I try to add my own creativity, because I feel there are things that I just sit down and then think about and be like, oh, if this was like this and that was like that, I think it could make something nice. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes it's just, creative thought. Yeah. So,
do you think someone can train themselves to that point when they are creating art like that?
Yeah. So for me, I feel like if you are an artist or a creative, you have to train yourself to get to the point where you can create.
How?
I mean, you are inspired by, certain things. And obviously those inspirations would sort of take you to a certain point in your, it will give you a certain edge in creativity. Yeah. However, aside those inspirations, I feel like personally you should have a level of creativity where you can come up with your own ideas. You get? It may not be original all through, but at least there has to be some personality from yourself within that. Some people should be able to see your art and see you in them. Yeah. So that's what I feel.
So that comes from feeding yourself with a lot of stuff and then kind of like just repurposing that part in your unique way.
But in your unique way, exactly.
Interesting. How many years have you been doing art?
So, like I said, ever since I can remember, I've been doing art from a young age, like consciously and subconsciously. But let's say professionally, I started design in 2015. And then I started digital arts, which is like the 3D stuff and all of that, late 2018 into 2019.
Okay, so we're looking like 6 years for that and like 9 years for that. How is it like working in the design space and this whole artist, how maybe interaction with clients, right? For someone who wants to get into the space, how do I begin?
Yeah, the beginning stages are tough because there's a lot you have to prove and you have to sort of work towards getting the respect of. Because unfortunately, where we are in this ecosystem, in this country, there's a lot you have to do to gain the respect you need to gain from what you do in the design space. Because generally, the field is not viewed in the way it's supposed to be viewed. Let's say a client comes and they want work. Generally, in their head, they are thinking a price that is supposed to be like 20 CDs, 30 CDs, you know, because that is what they are used to.
Yeah.
You know, thankfully now things are getting better because a lot of creatives have pushed through to make themselves, or they've put themselves in positions where they've made it known that design has to be respected. But before, it was like you have to show that you deserve a certain kind of respect. And mainly that came through, you know,
the work
you're putting out there, the way you show the work and present yourself with the work. Also, you have to learn the business of anything.
Right.
You have to learn business in general, just so you know how to talk to your clients, know how to tell them this is how we can go about it, explain to them and make them feel you know what you are doing. Once they know you know what you are doing, the respect comes.
Okay.
They value the work more because they come to the understanding that you are an expert in your field. Even though you might not be at the time, you come off as someone who is extremely professional and knows what they're about. So if you mention an amount, they might probably bargain, but then they respect the fact that, you know.
Okay, so you mentioned that, I mean, the beginning stage is tough because there's a lot you have to prove, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm correct, the proving here is, even as a beginner, it means you have to get better to the point that now when you're interacting with clients, because of the work you've done, you can fight for certain figures and all that.
Yeah, I mean, generally, in the beginning stage, it will be hard to fight for
those figures. Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like generally when you are beginning, it's more of the passion leading you
than the money. This is what people don't like hearing too.
Right. But then there's also, you have to make the money. So certainly, yeah. But if you are even beginning, I feel you still have to learn the business to understand that even if you are not going to get the amount you want, you can still get it to a point where it's fine, it's sustainable. So if you are able to learn how to communicate with the client and not make it seem like you are lesser than, that is what I'll say, because a lot of clients come in feeling like they are coming to do you a favor by hiring you for a job, but they need your expertise to make their whatever problem
they are
trying to solve work. So you have to come off as sort of like a consultant who knows what they are doing and make them feel like you're a professional at your work and not a small boy who is starting design.
Right.
You get it? Even if you're a small boy starting design, you have to
put yourself there,
make them feel like, because I mean, look at me. Anybody who sees me automatically thinks I'm a small boy.
Yeah.
Right? But then I won't go and sit in a meeting or be in front of a client and then speak like I'm a small boy, because then that would give them the opportunity to disrespect me like a small boy. So the way you put yourself across would help you get the things you want.
Okay, let me create a scenario. So I'm a client. I come to datartgod. datartgod, I want you to create this and this and this for me, and I don't want to pay maybe, let's say, 1,000 CDs. I'm just giving rough figures. But let's say that is very low, like that's like a quarter of what you charge. What would the response be like? Right? Maybe this is the work you want to do for the client. How are you going to interact with the client to make sure you can still secure that gig or anyway?
Yeah, so I'll start by telling the client that we can go about this work in several different ways. We can do this, we can do that, we can do this and that. Give them references to maybe perhaps some work you've done or maybe some other work to show them that we can tackle it in this way.
Okay.
in that instance, you have created the mindset you can actually solve the problem.
Right.
Now, you move on, and then I always go with this approach. I let them know that this is my base price. Let's say my base price is 5,000, but you are quoting 1,000. My base price is 5,000. And looking at the work you want me to do, it will cost you about 7,500. But this is the case where your budget is 1,000. We need to bring it up a bit. Maybe the best you can do is 3,000. Okay, that's fine. But you should know that I'm doing you a favor by making it 3,000. Meaning that you owe me. Yeah, meaning that you owe me. And looking at perhaps what the person is doing or whoever the person is, I feel there may be some value they can give in return, be it there and there or later on. So it's either two things. Either I make them understand I'm doing them a favor because my price is like this and I've reduced it to this class. So this thing where they can't do, I'm doing you a favor. Meaning that next time when you are coming, come correct, or you owe me big time.
Right.
Yeah. Or you can just subsidize the amount that you can't pay with something that you can give.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I think this was one of the conversations we're having in season 1 about relationships.
Yeah.
That I think Messiah was also saying the same thing. It's not always about money when it comes to working with someone, right? Sometimes there's an exchange that is other than money. What's your idea on that?
Yeah, that's
so. Are there people you work with that you didn't take money? There was a value or something you got?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. And can you give an example? Because for me, I don't see anything other than money. I want the money, bro. Like,
no, I mean, money is money.
Yeah.
But then there are things that are valued against money.
Okay.
Because I mean, let's say a client can give you a certain value. The money would probably give you the same value.
Right.
But it would be easier just getting the value straight. Right. It could be that perhaps what they are giving you might even be more valuable than the money you were expecting to take.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just so, like you were asking for an example. Somewhere around 2021, I think I worked on a gig for Timaya for his album. I did the visualizers for his album, and that gig I got paid not with money.
Interesting.
But with the Alienware laptop I was using.
Oh, okay.
So that gig bought me a laptop.
Right.
I could have taken the money and bought a laptop.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't want to buy the laptop here.
Okay.
And they had the avenues to get me the laptop from there. So I was like, you know what? Get me the laptop. I'll do the work.
So it's just an exchange of value. That's all. Exchange
of value.
Right? All right.
And to be fair, the money I would have taken for that, because that time I wasn't really, well versed in how much I was supposed to take and all of that. And that laptop was a lot of money. I would definitely have taken less than what that laptop cost. But I got that laptop. You get it? Yeah. So
I think I'm talking about money because it's kind of one thing people always start with. They want to get into that space, design, development, whatever it is, because they've heard that there's money there. But then you come in and you realize that it's not always about the money. There are times you have to do free work. Have you done any free work before?
I don't term it free work because I don't do free work.
I think I learned this from someone too.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I don't do free work.
Yeah. There's always the exchange.
Yeah, there's always an exchange of value. Like, I would do the work, but I'm not expecting to just do it for free. Right. I'm expecting something in return. So if I do it for you and maybe now it seems like you're not giving any value, it's a favor. You will return it one day. Yeah.
You know the vibe you're giving right now, like, these anime characters that are like serious, like, yo, bro, like, you will return it. Anyways, so for, again, let's say Raygan, right? I want to start this artist, journey. Where should I start from in terms of design? You started from graphic design, then you kind of transition into 3D. Can you give me like a roadmap? Even though the learning journey might be different for everyone. Yeah,
generally I feel it's different for everyone. And personally, I can't really give a roadmap because my journey was sort of unconventional because of the way it started. It wasn't something I planned to do, it was something that just happened. So I'll just say if you want to design, just start.
Okay.
Once you start, as you progress, you would find your way. I wouldn't like ask anyone to sort of have like a prim and proper strategic plan on how to progress, because it's always good to just have it come organically. You would end up learning some things you didn't even think you would end up learning. You might end up in a field you didn't even think was possible to end up in. So you just have to go with the flow.
I agree with that. I think computer science, right? I started learning development just because I was a computer science student.
You know, I did computer science.
Right now, see where we are.
Right.
I started learning development. And some way, somehow I found myself in design. And I think that's very true. People always think a lot into the future, which is okay. But then sometimes I just need to take that step and then everything will kind of fall in place. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. We're talking about business of design. You were like, you need to learn the business of everything. What are some of the things as a creative, aside the design and everything, what are some of the things that you need to look at in terms of business? Maybe invoicing, this, like, what are some of the things?
No, you definitely have to look into contracts.
Okay.
You have to, because trust me,
you clients, can't trust.
You see, if I'm fooling plenty. If I'm fooling plenty, someone would come from for you and give you like, your head could sweet you. Yeah, I'm coming to
exposure.
Exposure. But make sure you put pen to paper, because it's all talk. And they will talk today and then tomorrow you tell them they said this and they'll be like, me said this. And you have no evidence because one recording. So you see, so you need to put pen to paper to get what you have to get.
Okay.
Yeah. You also have to learn how to market. I mean, generally, if you are going to create anything for anyone, you have to look at the marketability of that thing.
Okay.
So as a designer, I feel like you generally have to learn a lot of marketing for yourself and for your clients. You have to know how to market your works in order to get the kind of clients you want to get. So marketing is an important part of it. And also branding. As a designer, why do you not know how to brand? You know, you should be able to brand yourself the way you brand your clients or brand the products of your clients. So you need to brand yourself in a way where a client will see you and be like, yeah, I definitely want to work with this person because of how they are moving. Because of how they are talking.
They look at when it comes to their brand.
Oh, I mean, I just feel like generally you have
to.
The
dressing part.
It depends on you.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I feel like generally the dressing is part because it's art. Yeah. And calling myself an art god, I have to show the art everywhere in my whole entire personality. Like that art god is my persona. Right. So if you see me, you should see art.
Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just my work. You should see me and see art. So the best way I feel I can convey that is with how I dress. And that is part of my branding. Yeah.
You've worked with interesting people. I mean, I visited your portfolio. I think last year, because I was trying to learn 3D, I was trying to, it didn't happen.
What happened?
It didn't happen. Nobody's carrying over anything. Then this year, before the interview, I think you've updated it, if I'm correct. Like now it looks...
Yeah, updated it a bit.
A few colors and all that. And I was seeing some of the rest. If you don't mind, who are some of the people you've worked with in the industry?
I've worked with Tree Music. Yeah, I work with some people. So yeah, I've worked with Black Sheriff.
Yeah.
I've worked with Joe Boy, Timaya. I've worked with Mr. Easy.
Okay.
Dirty Rave.
Okay.
Zama Disco. I've worked with Wine Podium. Camido.
That's interesting.
Very few people.
How the gigs they come through though? Where does it pass? Because this is like that means you have the connections.
I mean, generally you have to connect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I most of the connections also come from clients you've worked with. That is why you need to maintain a good relationship with your clients. And generally, I know that a lot of people have problems with certain clients that come in and then it ends up in a fight and all of that. But one thing I always want to say is always maintain a good relationship with any client at all, no matter what, because you never know where they are, who they know. or what they could say. So you have to maintain good relations with any and everybody, even if there's a fallout. So yeah, I mean, the gigs come from several avenues. I mean, creating my websites, some come through there.
Oh, wow.
I get some emails. Also, there's Behance. I get a lot of gigs from Behance. A lot of gigs that I can't share because they are indie stuff. But I get a lot of gigs, especially international gigs from Behance and Instagram as well.
Okay.
And word of mouth.
How is collaboration like for you? Do you work with other creatives, especially on?
Yeah, collaboration is a big deal for me. I love working with other creatives. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have seen, I work a lot with Messiah, Boka, and Ivy. Yeah. Together we are the Messy Gods. Yeah, I like collaborating. I feel like as a creative, you should collaborate more. You learn a lot. You get to create the most amazing stuff when collective minds come together.
True.
So, collaboration. We need more of that in the industry.
Not competition, like the whole.
Yeah, fuck competition. Even if it's competition, it should be friendly competition. Yeah. You can compete with yourselves and then come together and create some shit.
Compete together better.
Yeah.
I think competition is one stupid. Like, I never understand it because there's so much you can achieve when you collaborate.
Right. I think the problem with competition in Ghana stems from our education.
Yeah, everybody wants to be first.
The time that we did school, you have to be first. You always have to be trying to be. You have to hide your book from someone. You have to hide. So everyone is in their shell trying to be the first or be part of the best or that kind of thing. But they are not doing it with their brother. They are rather doing it devoid of them because that's how we've been taught to do things. And I feel like that should be something that should be changed from that. A lot of collaboration should be taught. Unfortunately, that is not something that is in our primary and basic schools.
I think now in the creative space and the career space, it's something that people are really preaching for.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few people touch on that. Anyways, as a creative, right? Always there's mental block, creative block. Charlie, I didn't remember. I understand. Even the small designer, I face that. But then for you, as an art god, that you are creating something from nothing, something unique, something to represent you, and also make sure it's serving the client's purpose, right? What do you do if you come to that point where it's like you're empty?
When I get to that point where I'm empty, I just stop working. Right? I just stop working. Because in that moment, it's more or less like your mind is exhausted. You need to sort of refresh.
Yeah.
So when I hit a creative block, I just go back to anime, go back to, and most of the time it helps because after watching anime, I'm like, I feel energized to create something similar. So most of the time when I hit a creative block, let's say working on a client's work, and I don't really know what to do, I go watch some anime, watch football, watch basketball, watch movies, just go to Behance and then look through people's work, watch YouTube videos, watch memes, laugh. Yeah.
So
then I just watch anime again. Then I get inspired to create something for myself.
Okay.
And then I go and sit down and then I start creating that or start the creative process to that. The moment the creative process to that starts, now the mind has been reset and then I start to feel the energy to create again. So basically,
you've mentioned anime a lot. Which ones do you watch? Let me see how I can go watch some.
I've watched.
I want 5.
I've watched almost every anime.
Guys, I'm letting him plug you.
So much so that I don't even have any to watch right now. I have to wait every week to watch a new episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I need anime. So I need animes to watch.
The only anime I've watched, I think, One Piece, Death Note, Black Clover. I started watching Attack
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, but I stopped because I hate blood.
Oh.
Yeah, and I know it's anime blood, but I can't. I've tried. Me too, me. But yeah, please recommend some for the anime fans watching.
Oh. Putting me on the spot. This one, if I mention it, if I people come and say this. Okay, let me just mention 5.
Yes.
So there is. My mind is overloading right now. Let me see which ones I can mention.
Don't rank them. Just mention 5. Guys, they are not in
There's
order.
Code Geass.
Okay.
There is Assassination Classroom.
Never heard of it.
There is Demon Slayer.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
There is Jujutsu Kaisen.
I've heard of that one.
There is Hunter x Hunter.
Okay, that's 5.
Yeah.
But you want to continue?
There is. Yeah, it's fine.
Interesting that everybody in this room, everybody still actually watch anime. This guy, the guy behind the camera, the guy that puts me on.
Yeah. As they should.
I think there's a lot to learn from anime.
Yeah.
The people watching will say we are children, but yeah,
children.
I mean, men are
you
babies.
heard him mention blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate blood. Anyways, you spoke about creative process. I wanted to talk about some of the challenges, but before that, what's your creative process like?
Yeah, my creative process.
So you got a gig today. Where are you starting from and then the end?
Yeah. So honestly, most of the time I have raw dogged it. Because most of the gigs I've gotten or I keep getting, most of them are like impromptu.
Okay.
Have to work within a certain period and So in those instances, like the very first thing that comes to mind, I just note it down, run it by the clients to see if it's something that they'll be interested in, and then I just start creating. So, in that instance, it's like, instead of spending time to perhaps maybe write down the idea, storyboard it, do, a lot of different things. In that instance where I have to work within that short period, I just start working. So perhaps maybe I'll be thinking to do the storyboard. Let's say I'm just doing it in the moment. So I just create. And yeah, most of the work some of you have seen and are like, hey, this thing is client is stressing me. Stress me. So I just had to do quickly. But when I have time, I jot down a couple of ideas and then I look through them and then see which ones are like feasible and are the best. Because most of the time I put down some ideas I can't do. So I get the ones that are possible, run them by the client, they choose one, and then I expand on that creative idea. I write down perhaps the storyline it would take or the marketing that it could do, that kind of thing, and then storyboard. And then sometimes I run it by, some of my creative partners like Messiah and Boka and Ivy before I even go ahead to create. So yeah, on the subject of collaboration, it tends to make the ideas much better. So generally that's how the process goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, fashion. This one they just go say one question. Yeah. You like, can you see your rings? Please show it to the camera.
Oh, my rings.
Crossbow. So this is someone's necklace. What? I mean, you mentioned that you need to dress like an art god, right?
Yes.
But where is it from? Because I wanted to dress like
where
that.
Is it from?
Where the ideas they come from?
The ideas. I mean, I have to get the items first.
So you just get them randomly and then now put them together?
I don't get them randomly. I mean, I cherry pick them, but I get them, all of like this from Fool's Plug,
Yeah, Fool's Plug.
Yeah, like I am 15 CDs.
So if I shake you, just hate me.
Oh, how?
You're giving black hair, like with a lot of, even on your waist, you have some stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm asking you about fashion because a few people I told I was going to interview were like, please ask him about his fashion.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I just wear what I like. And my fashion is heavily inspired by anime. So, like,
we'll get a picture of
it's heavily inspired by anime. And myself, I just look at the clothes I have and then, put them together. But there's also an art in finding the right clothes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to go to counter and go and look inside the foods and pick some things. Some of you may think I get my clothes. No, I'll be foods, foods. So, my major plugs, Fools plug, Foya, St. Ridgebos, and then aside them, there is also, some of my dope friends who are like crazy fashion designers who created the craziest, like this kimono from Kofi Mako and these pants from The Hood,
So you told Marco that you wanted that.
Yes, I did.
Charlie.
I did tell him that I want this, but he's like amazing. He's so good.
It's nice. I just I'll try to. I know it's not fit you, but I'll try. All right, challenges. Yeah, in the creative space, working. How has it been like for you? What are some of the challenges you face? Before we talk about the fire that happened,
right? Challenges. Well, in the early stages, obviously there are the challenges of like equipment. I generally, when I started 3D, my major challenge was the laptop I was using.
Okay.
The laptop I was using was so poor. I had to wait like 8 hours to get a render of one image that I had created. So I have the patience. I waited I used to wait, but that was a major challenge. I had to get a better laptop, and that was a very tough period. But there's also the aspect where clients disrespect.
All right.
Right. So my appearance, unfortunately, or let's say fortunately, I look younger than my age.
Yeah.
Right. And this is how I look now at 24. So imagine what I was looking like when I was
4 years ago or something.
When I was 19, 18. When I was 17, the period where I started design, I was like a tiny little baby. So during those periods, I used to hide my what I looked like a lot, and I let the work do the talking. But anytime I went for meetings, it was tough. It was tough. And during that period, I didn't know the business of design. So I was acting the way I looked. I was also a very shy kid. So I was just there, sitting. I talk like a child. I act like I don't really know what I want. I'm afraid to even speak and those kinds of things. So it was quite a tough time to do business and all of those kinds of things. But eventually I learned to overcome it. So
well done.
Yeah.
So now they don't disrespect you in the meeting?
Oh, thankfully, no.
Your work is speaking for itself. Okay, I think early this year, what month was it, the fire outbreak?
March.
March, yeah.
Yeah, it was 3rd March.
Please tell us what happened. Story time, guys.
Story time.
Yeah.
So, on March 3rd, a tragedy happened. Now, this tragedy is not just any tragedy. Everything, or let's say almost everything, because I managed to escape with my phone. But almost everything I owned got burnt in a fire.
Wow.
That caught in my house.
Wow.
Me and my brother and a couple of other people who were there at the time. Yeah, we had everything burnt, and you want me to say how it started?
No, what got burnt? Some of the things that
got
everything.
burnt. Oh, my clothes, my
Your laptop?
$10 billion worth of clothes.
This
all
is
got
gathered over
vents.
the years.
Over the years, my boots, my shoes, everything, hats, everything, jewelry, everything, gone. But yeah, my laptop got bent. Wow. My screens, my tablets, everything that was in the room got bent. My bed, my sweet bed, everything, even my old glasses.
So where did you move to after that?
After that, I had to move to a friend's place. I was at Kofi Mako's place for a while, and now I am somewhere else.
Somewhere else, guys. Yeah, somewhere else.
Still trying to find a permanent place, but
yeah, he has a GoFundMe. Put the link there so that if you want to support, because please, this one, if we put the picture there, you understand everything. He's not even describing it like everything as shit.
Everything dead and gone.
So we put the link there. I shared it yesterday. A few people have contributed. They want to, get our boy back on his feet. He's already on his feet.
No, yeah. I'd like to thank a lot of people. Like, there's too many people to thank us. Like, the support has been massive ever since.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm sitting here smiling and everything because of everybody who has helped me, from the donations to, the emotional support and everything. Like, I'm really grateful to a lot of people. Eventually, I would make a list and do documentations of all the people that, have helped me, and I would thank them properly. Like, there's so many. And I've been overwhelmed, to be honest, but thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So please, we'll put the link there. Please don't deactivate the link.
Oh.
No.
Okay. All
Somebody
right.
watching this might go and, add 10 times more to it. And for those of you watching, this was one of the toughest time for everything to because starting again.
Yeah.
You understand? And he's still moving, so I think this is an inspiration to.
No, it's an inspiration for more, to be honest. But one advice I would give anybody is always prepare for the worst.
Right.
Anything can happen at any time. I didn't expect that to happen, and it just happened. Just a few minutes.
A few minutes.
So it didn't take too long. I was asleep, woke up because I heard noise, opened my door, saw fire, ran away. Just within a few seconds of waking up and running away, I came to the realization that, oh shit, I've lost everything. So you always have to make sure you are prepared for the worst. You can't prepare for every single thing, but you have to at least have a certain kind of backup to any possibility. Finances, stash some money, make backups of your work, do this, do that. Some small things that would help you get back on your feet if anything is to happen.
Yeah. Snapping out of the sad moment. What has been one of your biggest achievements so far?
Yeah, my biggest achievement so far would be successfully organizing my exhibition. I've had 2 solo exhibitions so far, and I would say those are my biggest achievements because they were massive, more than I expected. So
is there more coming?
Yeah, for sure.
This year or next year?
I have plans to do some this year.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely inspired from
what happened. So for the fire, guys.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I think I saw that on the story. I think you mentioned that you just got some inspiration to create something. We are waiting.
Yeah,
all right. We have this session called Repeat and Complete. But before that, I want you to give just one advice. You've given a lot of advice to the people watching. Just one advice to someone who is now coming to start their journey, whether in visuals or in whatever career field it is, because I feel it's still the same. It can be a career advice. It can be a design advice. Anything.
Yeah. If you're someone who is starting design, create. Like, don't put yourself in a bubble. Don't feel like you have to go in a specific direction or like do things in a specific kind of way. You have all the freedom to do whatever you want, to learn whatever you want. Take your time. You don't need to rush. Take your time. Learn, practice, be consistent with what you want to do. Consistency is key. You have to like keep learning, practicing, and all of that. Yeah, feed your eyes with good design. Feed your eyes with creativity. Feed your mind with creativity. It's very important because a lot of people know how to design, but they are not creative. They just apply the rules of design to do things. But let's say they have to think and create something, it becomes hard. So you need to feed your mind to the point where you are, capable of creating.
Wow, thank you. All right, to my favorite part, repeat and complete. So I'm going to give you the rules. Please listen carefully.
All right.
You repeat exactly what I say and then you complete the sentence. The sentence. So an example would be, my name is, and then you'd be like, my name is Oware. So first question, when I'm not working, you can find me.
When I'm not working, you can find me watching anime.
One thing people would be surprised to know about me is?
One thing people will be surprised to know about me is that I'm a vegetarian. Why are you surprised?
Oh, true. You mentioned it the last time we met. The day I told you to go buy kebab. Yeah.
How can you be surprised at something you already know?
Yeah, like it just hits me again. That's good.
I'm not like vegetarian by choice. So I'm allergic to meat. Oh. It's like the worst kind of allergy to have.
So you would have actually loved to chew meat.
I am married, but mean to me.
I think I'll put meat under your food one time. All right. The first app I open in the morning is?
The first app I open in the morning is Instagram.
After this season, I'll do a compilation of all of your answers. And I'll tell you the answer I was expecting from all the guests. Don't worry.
I'm sure you were expecting something like Photoshop or...
No.
I mean, the first thing I pick up in the morning is my phone because it's right beside me, So
don't worry. All right. If I could have any superpower, it would be...
If I could have any superpower, it would be telepathy.
My favorite way to unwind after a long day is?
My favorite way to unwind after a long day is to watch anime.
If I could travel anywhere in the world right now, I would go to?
If I could travel to anywhere in the world right now, it would be Anime City, Tokyo.
God. If I could swap lives with anyone for a day, it would be?
If I could swap lives with anyone for a day, it would be God.
Wow.
I need to understand how that supreme being came about creating everything they created, like the thought process behind it and everything. I need to know.
You need it?
Yeah, I would swap lives with God.
If I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, it would be?
If I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, it would be Banku.
Last one, if I could swap jobs with anyone for a day, it would be?
If I could swap job with anyone for a day, it would probably be my brother. Yeah, that beats God. God, yeah. I would definitely be interested in producing some music and making music.
Wow. Yeah. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. And like I said, we are going to attach the GoFundMe link and his portfolio, his Instagram. You can reach out if you want to learn anything. As God, this was nice.
Yeah.
Guys, that's not there.
Yes.
That's as God.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.